everybody. He's Peter Tork. She's Davy Jones. I'm Michael Nesmith, the guy with the weird hat. Wait, we're not the Monkeys. We're Vikings Report, Drew and Ted.
All right, I'm cooler than you are. Why don't you fix your little problems and light this candle?
He's right. Let's light this candle.
He surely is. Light the candle.
Yes. Resume the countdown.
Drewster, how are you?
Here we come, walking down the street. Get the funniest looks from everyone we meet.
Hey, we're the monkeys, and people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing to put anybody down.
Welcome. You like that song, Ted?
I do, yeah. I like the show.
Song?
The Monkeys was a good show, man.
Monkeys theme will be right up there with the championship. Not for episodes, though. Only 58 episodes in 2 seasons. That thing ran fast and dry.
They were only on for 2 years?
Yep, 66 or 68. So they only had 2 seasons.
Seems like it was on longer than that.
It did. When I saw it, I thought I was expecting like 150 episodes.
Yeah. You know, I talk about the after-school TV shows for me. That was like in the rotation with like I Dream of Jeannie and Beverly Hillbillies and some of the other shows we've talked about. And the Monkeys was probably a top 2 or 3 favorite show. I absolutely love the Monkeys growing up. I just thought it was a great show.
You know what's weird is today I was doing a little research and I saw the 3 years of the 2 seasons they made. It started in 1966. I remember how crazy my sisters used to gather around to watch that show.
Yeah.
So I was piecing it together and doing a little math in my head. I thought that means I can remember back when I was 3 years old.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean that's pretty good for me considering I can't remember what I had for dinner last night, but that's a heck of a show. It was pretty funny, really corny.
It was,
but really funny. Mickey Dolenz, Michael Nesmith, Davy Jones,
and Peter Tork, the bass player. You should have called him out first, being the bass player, Peter Tork. It's your problem, man.
What's your problem? I said, what's your problem?
First off, none of them played any of the music.
Not at first, but they did eventually.
Yeah, by their third album, they were learning the instruments. And on the first album, they actually did some vocals. So it's not like they were completely out of there on the music. But the Wrecking Crew, shout out for the Wrecking Crew. If you haven't seen that documentary on Netflix, plug into that, Ted. It's called The Wrecking Crew. I think it's on Netflix or Hulu or something. I can't remember. We'll throw a picture of it up here.
I'm writing. So I assume it's about the Monkeys.
No, it's about the Wrecking Crew who did all the music for not only the Monkeys, a buttload of shows.
Oh, really?
And they're like, nobody knows about them. Nobody knows about this unknown band that made everybody thought it was the sitcoms that made all this music. They made a ton of the music for everybody.
No kidding.
It's really interesting because it's a band. They hyped it as like the band you've never heard of.
I'll check it out. I definitely will.
Some of the finest studio musicians who ever played music in history. The Wrecking Crew was the name of their band. They did all the music and the sound for that. Mickey Dolenz was going to be the Fonz.
No way, on Happy Days?
He got the part, but he ended up being too tall.
Really?
Because Winkler's like 4'7". He's like a tiny little.
He's almost a midget.
Winkler got the job because he's shorter, but Dolenz was 100% going to be the Fonz.
Wow,
that would have been kind of weird.
How our pop culture would have changed had that been the case.
Hey, the Mickey Dolenz?
Yeah, that'd been weird. Do you remember? I got to tell you this real quick about the Monkeys. Do you remember the old Columbia House Records thing? Send in 1 penny and you get like 10 albums for free.
You need to pay your Columbia Record House bill, okay? I'm tired of getting your bills in the mail. You owe the people $86. Now pay it, okay?
I still owe them probably $300-400.
I probably do too.
Did anybody pay them?
We never did. The first time I ever got the Columbia House thing, I begged and pleaded with my mom to let me do this because the Monkeys had an album on there and I wanted that Monkeys album. And so for 1 penny, I got the Monkeys and a bunch of other stuff too.
Between school shopping for your Tough Skins and the Monkeys, your mom had a lot of crap to deal with you, bro.
Yeah. I was a problem child growing up for sure.
I remember that Columbia House thing. How did they stay in business? Nobody ever paid.
They're not in business anymore. They went out of business.
Oh, Michael Nesmith, his mom invented whiteout.
No way, really?
Yeah, what was it called? Whiteout ended up buying the company, but she made called liquid paper.
Yeah.
Liquid something. She invented that in 1951, his mother in the kitchen.
Behold, liquid paper. But where did it come from? Meet Betty Nesmith Graham.
No kidding.
Now I'm thinking if mom can put together some liquid paper in the kitchen, what else can she cook up in the kitchen? I mean, she cooking meth. Nesmith might have been Jimi Hendrix.
That's why he wore the hat all the time. He's paranoid. I don't know.
Not the whiteout you remember, Ted, with the football, the whiteout, the actual
Yeah.
whiteout, the one on the paper, not the screaming fans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure you knew the difference of whiteout.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
good.
Michael Nesmith's mom invented that.
That's pretty cool.
There was a show that probably should have been on a little longer than it was. Ended up being more popular when they took it off the air. One of those kind of things.
Yeah, it was a lot more popular in syndication than it was when it was on the air, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes. A lot more popular. It was a good show, though. I'm glad we had a good idea to pay a little tribute to the Monkees tonight.
And they had some pretty decent songs, man. They were not a terrible band. Or whether it was them or the Wrecking Crew, I don't know now. You've just ruined my entire childhood.
How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
Yeah, you know what? I've been in the house before when nobody's around and take the Zeppelin off and I hear Cheer Up Sleepy Jean. I've turned it up to 50. Come on, Ted. You've blared some Monkees in your life. We all have.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I saw her face. Dun, 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 dun. Now I'm a believer. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. I'm kind of. I may or may not have a couple songs by the Monkees on my iPod, my phone.
Ted Glover
May or may not.
Buying Columbia House to get that Monkees album.
Yeah. I knew the deal. You bet. I'm not ashamed to admit it. All right. So the Monkees, great show, great band. And speaking of great, here's a player that we don't really talk about a whole lot when we talk about really good Minnesota Vikings players from the past. And that's former running back, number 21 in your program, but number 1 in your heart, Terry Allen.
Terry!
He was a good player. You look back at his stats, and he was a really good player. Just didn't have a whole lot of time with the Vikings.
That guy was absolutely fantastic production when he was here. I'm a big Terry Allen fan from Clemson.
Yeah.
Vikings drafted him in the 9th round, Ted. How's
So
that
would make him an undrafted free agent today.
Yes, it would. Well, never know with the Vikings. They have 15 7th rounders. So 9th round pick in 1990. It's the first year with the Vikings was 91. He missed the 93 season, so he's here 3 seasons. Ted, there's a guy I think we should have hung on to a little longer.
Yeah, I mean, he had he blew his knee out in 93, I think it was. Yes. He had like over 1,000 yards in 92, didn't play at all in 93. The Vikings drafted Robert Smith to kind of be their guy. And Smith had a couple injuries plagued seasons early on. And then Allen came back. And if you remember, like when Terry Allen came back from his knee injury, that was still in the day. We're talking 30 years ago now. And that was in the back when guys didn't come back, 9 or 10 months after they tore an ACL. It was really questionable whether he was A, going to play again, and B, if he did play, was he going to be any good?
Yeah, the year he came back from the knee injury, he had what, over 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns again.
Yeah.
And the year before his knee injury, he had 1,201 yards and 13 touchdowns for the Vikings. That guy was dynamic. He was elusive. And I remember him getting a lot of the yards after contact. He was really, really, really good at the second level and the jukes. And Terry Allen always played well. And then
he did.
And then he left here and he went to Washington and carved out another, 4,000 yards there.
He did. He sure did.
And 37 more touchdowns.
He was a good player. I mean, he was and once he got past that knee injury, I think that was one of the reasons the Vikings got rid of him, because he had that injury history, and they had Robert Smith, who I think Denny liked better as a pass catcher. Terry Allen was more of a, between the tackles runner, which he was very good at.
Right.
He's probably better remembered as a member of the Washington Redskins than he is the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I think the Vikings probably, everything you just said is probably the reason that he did move on, but he had some really productive years there as a Redskin. And man, I mean, 37 more touchdowns after he left here. He finished with the Vikings 47 games, 2,800 yards rushing, 23 touchdowns, and also had 72 catches for 675 and 3 more touchdowns. He played 3 seasons for Washington, and then he flubbed around with like 3 other teams in a matter of 1 season each. He had a season in New England, season in New Orleans, season for Baltimore. Didn't do much though.
The one Terry Allen game I remember more than any, and this was Denny Green's first game as a head coach, 1992.
Mm-hmm.
And Allen was kind of he just sort of came out of nowhere. That 92 season just sort of came out of nowhere.
All of us are wondering, who the hell is this dude?
Opening day, he runs for like 140 or 150 yards against the Green Bay Packers, and the Vikings win in Lambeau on opening day on Denny Green's debut as head coach, and you're like, wow, who's this guy?
But then that was an exciting game for us because we opened with the Packers and we won the game in overtime. And I think that was probably the most memorable one. The first one is always the best one.
And that's just kind of the year Terry Allen had. He was just hard to tackle and hard to bring down that year. He was just a great player for the Vikes.
Great production. That guy was really solid player. He was, when he got here, I think wasn't he a backup to Herschel Walker? I mean, I wasn't Herschel.
He very well could have been, yeah.
Herschel, little tippy toes to the line, little Herschel. Little bobsledding Herschel.
Oh, Herschel.
You miss Herschel, Ted? Like you miss Toughskins?
I miss, yes, I do. I miss Toughskins like I miss Herschel Walker.
I miss Toughskins. I'm buying some next week.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to cut the legs off. Big jorts. Tough-skin jorts.
You got a chainsaw to cut those pants off? Pant legs off?
I think I remember winning a bet once with a kid. I lit my pant leg on fire because I knew it would take 3 days for it to burn through the Toughskin. You know, the Toughskin people probably love us on this show. We give them a lot of pub.
Yeah, they probably do. Do they even make those anymore? I'm going to buy each of my gradsons a pair.
Make sure you get the red ones, though.
I'm going to get red, green, and purple.
Those are the most popular. I think Davy Jones wore the purple ones, dude.
Probably.
You're up sleep.
Oh, God, just awful.
Oh, what can it mean? Come on, man. The Monkeys.
Yeah. The Monkeys and Terry Allen. That's a heck of a start. That's a heck of a start to this show.
Episode 21. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We're here for episode 21. We're going to light your candle. Wait. We're not going to light your candle.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
That's my joke. Damn it.
So the Vikings traded Mike Hughes, and we said there had to be a corresponding move, or it was just like a completely stupid trade. Well, we got that corresponding move over the last weekend when the Vikings signed cornerback Bashaud Breeland to a free agent deal, and so if you want to put the Mike Hughes trade in context, right. It was Mike Hughes and a 7th round pick for Bashaud Breeland and a 6th round pick, because Breeland played for Kansas City. He started for the Chiefs the last 2 years. So I got to say that's a pretty good upgrade for the Vikings secondary. Drew, what do you think?
Well, the fact that he actually plays is an upgrade from Hughes.
Yeah.
That's kind of the first way you look at it. Is he now the only guy on the team that has a Super Bowl ring? Because he got one with Kansas City. I'm not sure of the roster, how that breaks down, but...
Well, I think Mackenzie Alexander won one with the Bengals, right?
Oh, my God, that is funny.
Wait, my bad. No, that didn't happen.
No, I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer in Mackenzie Alexander having a Super Bowl ring, but yeah.
He might be, yeah.
Breeland had some good numbers with KC, 27 games. 17 pass defense, last 9 last year, 38 tackles last year, 30 solo, 4th round pick by the Redskins in 2014. That he played for that team from Wisconsin in 2018, then the last 2 seasons with Kansas City, but he started, and I was really happy. He came here and had an interview and everything, I think when you were on your fishing trip.
Mm-hmm.
And you were trying to check in every day to get Viking news in the midst of, when you went on your drinking trip. And
Yeah, well,
you're checking in to see what kind of see the Viking news. And I had told you that Breland was here and then he left, and he left kind of like one of those things where what didn't sound good is like he was like angry when he left. It was one of those things, we're not getting that guy. And then all of a sudden he's on our team.
whatever apparently the Vikings offered initially, he was not a big fan of it.
He had a 1-year deal with Kansas City for $3 million. I know my worth. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. But he had 4 interceptions there in the last 2 years, and that's probably tops on our team.
So I was looking at a couple things on the internet today, and I found this really interesting tweet from a guy by the name of Daniel House at Daniel House NFL. Young kid up and coming in the business. Really, if you're on Twitter, follow him at Daniel House NFL. Really sharp kid. He posted this. He said, new Vikings cornerback Bashad Breeland's completion percentage allowed on targets. So a completion percentage that he gave up. In 2020, it was 50%, number 3 in the NFL. In 2019, it was 48.4%, which was 10th in the NFL. And in 2018, it was 51.5%, 19th in the NFL. That's pretty solid.
That is pretty solid. It's good numbers right there, Ted.
And I also looked up some passes defended, which I think is a big stat for cornerbacks.
Big stat.
He had 9 and 2 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of compared him to a couple other guys. Now, you remember back in 2015 and 2016 when Xavier Rhodes was pretty much considered, either him or Patrick Peterson were considered the 2 top cornerbacks in the NFL. Rhodes had 11 passes defended in both 2015 and 2016. And last year, Patrick Peterson had 8 passes defended. So I think when you compare those numbers and they compare favorably to Rhodes and Patrick Peterson, and then consider he's taken over for Mike Hughes, that's a pretty significant upgrade.
I think so too. And I think his 81 pass defense for his career is a really good number.
Yeah.
That's 81 and 14 career picks. So he's doing some work back there. He's not just standing around. This gives us 10 corners now with the other additions we had. So I think Breland, do you think Breland goes in there and starts day one on the outside?
Yes. I depending on how Harrison Hand does. I thought Harrison Hand played fairly well towards the end of last year, and I think he'll get a long look. I think him and Breland will get a long look on the outside. I think Patrick Peterson's a lock for the other side. And it comes down to Breland and Hand for the other side, with Alexander probably your favorite to go into the slot. What about you?
At least we have some options, right?
Yeah. When Breland got signed, I tweeted this out. I said I wanted to compare the Vikings cornerbacks from opening day of 2020 to what we have now. This is what we had week 1 against the Packers, where Aaron Rodgers, I think, threw another touchdown pass against us, by the way.
That was tough skins.
It was the 6 cornerbacks were Chris Boyd, Cameron Dantzler, who was a rookie, Jeff Gladney, who was a rookie, Harrison Hand, Holton Hill, and Mike Hughes. That was your cornerback room opening day 2020. Now, today, you cannot swing a dead cat without hitting a cornerback on the Minnesota Vikings roster. You can't. And I don't think Phillip Rivers can out procreate the amount of cornerbacks the Minnesota Vikings have right now.
Baby. Golly. Uh-oh.
Or Adrian Peterson.
Oh, maybe we better hire Evander Holyfield then.
And then if you consider the signing of Amari Henderson, by my count, the Vikings now have 11 cornerbacks on the roster.
The hell is Amari Henderson? Where'd he play at?
I don't know. He's an undrafted free agent rookie. So I don't know. I can't even remember. I think he's a training camp body at this point. But I firmly believe that Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman will not be happy until they have amassed a 53-man roster of nothing but 7th-round draft picks that are all cornerbacks. Then they will both reach nirvana, and they won't have to be reincarnated.
Ted Glover is back. Let me tell you, he is back, baby.
But look at this now. So Boyd, Dantzler, Gladney, Hand, Hill, and Hughes last year. Now we've got Mackenzie Alexander back home again. Boyd's back. Bashad Breeland, Cam Dantzler, Jeff Gladney for the time being. I don't think Gladney will be on the team.
No.
Come opening day, but who knows how the legal process plays out.
How many corners how many corners are on the roster at week 1 last year? 6?
6, yeah.
So we got 10. We got 10 right now on the roster.
11 if you count Henderson, who was signed earlier as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
So half of them. That's pretty damn good math. Thank you. Half of them.
My genius is, it's almost frightening.
Yeah, at least you have an assortment to choose from rather than having 4 opening day and still needing 2 more.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to figure Alexander's a lock.
Go ahead.
Patrick Peterson, right? Breeland, Hand, I would think, Dantzler, and then we can choose between Boyd, Mabin, Nickerson, Ty Smith, and Amari Henderson. And I would give the edge to Ty Smith just because he's a 5-year vet.
That's going to be interesting to track, Ted. The 6 guys for 1 spot, or 5 or 6 guys playing for 1 spot on the roster.
I think so, yeah.
There can be only one.
Wow.
Yeah, I think position flexibility. You're going to have to be able to play both outside and the slot if you want to. If you want that last roster spot, I would argue, but that's just me. But either way, to say that the Vikings got a lot better at cornerback in the offseason would be an understatement, at least on paper. I think they've got some tremendous upgrades compared to what they had last year.
Got some depth right there. We always talk about depth. Depth as being one of the things that's going to lead us to the promised land.
Yep.
I do feel better about the cornerback group that we have right now. We had 83 of the 87 guys show up for voluntary OTAs. Only 4 guys didn't.
Yeah.
From what I noticed. And none of them those were corners except for Gladney. But yeah, let's play it out and see what happens. And few of those guys go to the practice squads are increased too because of they're keeping all the COVID rules for practice squads. So
yeah. So I think the cornerback room is going to be a lot better off this year than it was.
How old is that Devin guy? What's his name? Henderson. Do you know how many years he's been?
The Amari Henderson, the guy they just signed?
Right.
Got to only be 20, 21, 22.
Okay.
Because he's a rookie undrafted free agent.
Oh, I see it. He right here from Wake Forest.
Wake Forest.
Dude, go to Wake Forest for a month, dude. You come out of there at hippie tie. That play, woo! Wake Forest, they know how to party there.
We're here.
So we also had another thing come out of OTAs. Tight end Zach Davidson, who's probably towards the bottom end of the roster, made a one-handed catch that the Vikings put on social media.
Nebuchadnezzar?
So we should probably fit him for his gold jacket. Ben Davidson out of Nebuchadnezzar State. Just keep an eye on him. He's going to the Hall of Fame because he had a one-handed catch in shorts and T-shirts.
Like Bucky Hodges had that one year?
Yeah.
Oh. Next, Gronkowski right there. Where's he now?
Whatever. I don't know. Probably selling insurance. I would be. But here's one thing I do want to talk about. You mentioned only 4 guys didn't show up for the voluntary OTAs. One of those 4 guys was Daniil Hunter, and we mentioned that in passing last week. But this is something I think we need to keep track of. With mandatory OTA coming up, I think all eyes will now turn to Daniil Hunter and what he's going to do. I mean, it's been kind of rumors about him being disgruntled and wanting a new contract all off season, and how that's going to play out. And what do you think is going to happen? Is
he going to be here next Tuesday? I know the first ones were voluntary, and I made a a post about it in our football group, and everybody was saying, it's just voluntary. Don't worry about it. And I'm thinking, well, you know how I feel about the man's talent on the field and how important he is to the defense. I stated that very clearly, that he is the most important piece on the defensive side and a piece that we need to actually get to the postseason. Not that we don't have the bodies in the defensive line, but a lot of them are unproven. And if there's one thing, well, here's the thing with Hunter. I was thinking about it today. I praise his work and how much we need him. But the guy really hasn't played football in like 20 months, has he? I mean, it's been a long time since he's played.
He hasn't. Last action he saw was the playoff game against San Francisco.
And and I'm not downplaying that as being, you know what I'm saying about that. Just hasn't been on the field. You know what he can do. He's a record setter, fastest guy to 50 sacks in NFL history. It's nothing to sneeze at. But if he hasn't played, he's still under contract. Come back and prove it to me. Come back and prove it that you can get 4 or 5 sacks in the first couple of games, and then, I don't. It just kind of feels like he's not going to be back. We'll find out Tuesday in 3 days.
I've said all along, I think he's going to play this year because
I hope so.
Like you just mentioned, he's under contract to the Vikings, and whether you like the way contracts are laid out in the NFL or not, the team holds all the leverage. They just flat out do. I mean, if Hunter sits out the year, he doesn't accrue a year towards his seniority or retirement and all that stuff in the NFL. It doesn't count as a year towards free agency. So it does him absolutely zero good to sit out. Could he just to prove a point? Yeah, I guess he could. But I think that's why he ultimately plays, because the negatives far outweigh the positives.
Have you heard any news coming out either way?
I have not. No.
That's kind of strange. It's kind of too hush-hush,
Which makes me think maybe they're working on getting something done. I mean, I could see maybe giving him more upfront money, or maybe cutting a year off his contract to let him be eligible for free agency sooner, and promise not to franchise tag him and all that stuff. Because I get the reservations about, look, he had a herniated disc in his neck, and that's a pretty serious injury, and you want to make sure he's healthy first. But I still think at the end of the day, he's going to play. I mean, I hope he does. I think he's a great player. Like you rattled off all the great numbers, and I think without him, the Vikings defense, for all the gains they've made in free agency and the draft, I think a lot of that is negated if Hunter does not come in and play.
Ted, I'm concerned. Okay, I'm concerned. I'm not Willie Nelson washing his hair in your city water supply concerned.
Like a bridge over troubled water.
But I'm generally concerned, okay? I don't know.
I almost spit my beer into the camera.
I'm not quite to that concerned, but you imagine that if you woke up in the news and you found out that was the case.
What, that Willie Nelson washed his hair in my city water?
You'd be on the road again, bro.
Oh, man.
So my level of concern may not be Willie Nelson hair washing thing, but I am concerned because when I see him out there next week, I'll feel a lot better about it. But the fact that he's not part of any kind of hype right now is he's just sitting back. I don't hear anything. I'm not hearing something is almost like, we got to have him in there, Ted. He's got to play for us. He has to.
And Mike Zimmer really said he hadn't talked to Hunter all off season, which kind of troubling. I just hope they can come to some sort of agreement and he's out on the field practicing and playing with the Vikings, because he makes the Vikings defense so much better. I think it's a difference between a 13th or 14th ranked defense to maybe a 19th or 20th ranked defense. That one guy.
Since we're adding a game to the NFL, are you worried about any of these rookies? Wyatt Davis, the guys up front, Darisaw hitting a rookie wall.
I'm worried about even the veterans hitting. Yeah, I'm worried about all of them. I think the 17-game schedule, everybody says, yeah, it's great. It's more football. But the NFL had perfect symmetry. 16-game schedules, 32 teams, 4-team divisions. I mean, it just lined up perfectly. I think the 17th game, yeah, it's an extra game, but at what cost? I think injuries, and especially the later in the season you get, I think injuries are going to pile up more.
Even Hunter, if he didn't play last year, what's his wall going to be?
Yeah.
Are all the Vikings going to run out of gas in December? And that's
a legit question. I mean, I don't know. All teams are going to be dealing with it. Now, the Vikings will be the only one to use it as an excuse, when they go 7-10. Well,
Right.
we couldn't adjust the 17-game schedule. There's going to be a team going. There's going to be a team going 15-2, and they, COVID and the 17-game schedule, and don't fire me. Whatever.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell that. Everybody's like, football's a team game. Okay, it's not a team game. Okay, I did my part. All right, I put in a great game plan. I mean, these players, they're horrible. My players are no good. I mean, everybody's like, no excuses. No, I got 22 excuses. 11 on my offense and 11 on my defense.
Sorry.
Don't forget onside kicks, Ted.
Yeah. If we had a kicker that knew how to do an onside kick, maybe we wouldn't. Whatever. I think it's going to affect all the teams and how they manage their personnel. Are coaches going to sit a guy late in the year just because he's that more beat up and you've got 3 or 4 more games to go? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Vikings are going to have to scratch and claw to get a lot of these wins. So, well, you better have some good depth, and all the teams have to deal with it. I just comes down to how much you trust Zimmer and his long-term plan.
Yeah.
Details. I've always been a guy. I don't think Mike Zimmer follows the details very closely. I don't think he does.
I agree with you there. And the devil, as they say, is in the details.
And
so we'll see what
say,
happens.
Well, what are the details? What are the details of coaching? Well, the details of having that Tennessee game you talked about. Remember we had the highlights for that about 10 episodes ago?
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee went down on that drive and scored. The Vikings came out and ran probably the 3 or 4 worst plays you've ever seen run in football. Did they not? They didn't look prepared.
No,
they didn't have that last drive in order.
It wasn't a 2-minute drill. It was a Chinese fire drill is what it was.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about with details. And people always say, well, there's no details. It's pretty vague. When Tennessee's driving that ball down the field to take the lead, Ted, you're going to get one more shot. If you're the head coach, you got to be turning around and make sure Cousins is talking to the wideouts and the O-line and the OC, and they're getting a plan together for the final drive. The Vikings weren't doing that.
He was too
on
busy.
the bench.
Zimmer was too busy calling plays, man.
But you, as a head coach, you better make sure your guys are going to get one more. Make sure you're ready. That's the detail. Or when it's late in the game, this one game we had late in the game, they threw a screen pass out to CJ Ham, and he's running up the field. And all we need to do is keep the clock running, and he ran out of bounds. As a head coach, you got to tell your offense, when you go out there, I don't want anybody running out of bounds. That's details of football. Those, and it goes, there's a million of them you can point out, but I don't think he's very good at the details of the game. I don't think he looks out for that.
You're right. He doesn't pay enough attention to the other side of the ball sometimes, it feels like.
That last drive against the Titans, Ted, what was that?
It was terrible.
It looked like they didn't have a plan at all. It looks like they weren't even calling plays.
It looked like a bunch of guys getting out to a sandlot and say, hey, let's try and score a touchdown. We'll see how that goes this year.
Enthusiasms. Enthusiasms. That's my favorite insert you've ever found. Enthusiasm.
Is it really?
Yeah, you found some great inserts. Oh, wait, no. Unicorn rainbows. Unicorn dancing on rainbows. Play it. Let's play it. Let's see it.
We'll do that again.
Do it. Hit it, Tootses.
That's stupid. We're just dumb. There's one other thing going on, and this deals with that team from Wisconsin. And personally, I'm eating it up. Adam Schefter just tweeted this out. He said, Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers is not expected to attend Green Bay's mandatory minicamp that starts Tuesday, per sources. Green Bay could opt to fine him $93,085 for his absences, or it could make it an excused absence and waive the fine. But Rodgers is not expected to be there. And then a guy who covers the Broncos, Benjamin Albright, at Albright NFL, somebody asked him, purely gut take, where Rodgers will be come September 13th. I think it's a legitimate coin flip. From the people I've talked to, Rodgers isn't budging off his stance, and it isn't about money. He has declined an offer from the Packers already that would have paid him over $40 million a year.
Oh, my God.
So 93,000 doesn't really mean anything to him.
I don't think so. The options are Denver, Green Bay, or retire, because I've heard no other teams in the mix for Aaron Rodgers.
Man, what a mess. I feel so bad about it.
It's terrible.
Big fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows. Give us that Ted Glover grin. Where's that Ted Glover grin? What's the fastest you've ever taken a helicopter? Real quick.
I had one at about 170 knots before, right at the fastest the Chinook will go.
Is it exciting or are you pissing a little?
No, it's awesome, man. It's beyond awesome.
Dude, before I kick it, I want to ride one of those going 170. Can you set it up?
No, not anymore. I don't know anybody anymore.
Okay. And this is going to be nuts. If he's not there, that gives Zimmer a tremendous advantage too. I mean, Cousins the best quarterback in the division then, right?
I would have to think so. I mean, you've got Cousins, you've got Andy Dalton or Justin Fields in Chicago, Jared Goff in Detroit, and it would be Jordan Love Shack. That's where it's at in Green Bay. Sign says, stay away, fool, because love rules at the Pack Shack.
Listen to that. Listen to Ted Glover. What does he say? As big as a whale. What's that guy saying in that song? The love
I got me a Chrysler. It's as big as a whale, and it's about to set sail.
I got me a car. It seats about 20. So come on and bring your jukebox money.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Oh.
Let's hear some Love Shack.
I actually saw them in concert. They put on a pretty good show. The casino version.
What?
The casino tour version of the B-52.
What was your first show, Ted?
Kiss, December 2nd, 1977. St.
No
Paul Civic
way!
Center. I was 10 years old. Me, Paul Johnson, and Christopher Norris got dropped off at one of the doors by the St. Paul Civic Center by my mom. This is how parenting went in the 1970s. And my mom said, it was like at 6 o'clock, the concert was supposed to start at 7:30, whatever it was. And my mom said, I will pick you up right here at 11:30. And just sent 3 10-year-olds into the St. Paul Civic Center to attend a Kiss concert.
Isn't it weird how it used to be?
Oh, it's crazy.
I remember leaving for a couple days and coming home and mom saying, where you been? You asking me now? Been tied up in somebody's basement or something? You cared? Well, yeah, I set table for you and you didn't eat.
All right, so we're not concerned about the Neil Hunter yet, or are we concerned?
I'm concerned until Tuesday. I want to see in 3 days. In 3 days, I want to see him on. If he's not there, I am going to be concerned. I know a lot of people are just going to say, well, this is mandatory. Get out there with your teammates and play. And Kendricks and Pierce, all these guys have been out there bonding in these voluntary OTAs. Get out there and play. Come on, dude.
If he doesn't show up, I'll be worried.
Me too.
Rodgers, I hope that fun train just lasts all season long.
Is he willing to sit? If he is, I'll be happy. You had the good call by you, though. They're not winning 6 games without that guy.
No.
I think 6 games would be high, dude.
That's the only reason I think Aaron Rodgers may have any leverage, because they know I think they know they have a bad team without him. If they're willing to accept that and force his hand and make him retire, we'll see what happens. But that's going to be interesting too.
What you just talked about with the money, if they can't get him with the money, Ted, if they can't bribe him, how are they going to get him there?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, so that's our talk for this week. We're going to hit a commercial, and then we'll come back with Family Feud trivia.
Yeah, I'm going to whip your ass this week.
No, you're not. Shut up.
So you're on your way to buy some music albums. How much money do you have? Only a penny? You're kidding. That won't buy a thing at the store. But here, open this gold box. Just 1 penny buys 1, 2, 3, keep going. 13 tapes or 13 records of your choice when you join the Columbia Record and Tape Club. The new TV guide has this announcement ad. Look for it. And to get a free bonus tape or record, look for the gold box in the same ad. There it is. Inside the gold box, write the number of any extra album you want, and it's yours as a free gift. So that's 14 albums for 1 penny. The Columbia Gold Box ad is in TV Guide, this Sunday's Parade Supplement, and these magazines. That's a lot of music for, no store offers more.
It's going to be a rice day, starting with Kellogg's Rice Krispies. Ricey bubbles so crisp and golden, speak so soft and act so nourishing. Eat 'em every day.
Krispies.
All right, welcome to Toons' Trivia. How you guys doing?
Good, Toonses. How are you?
I am doing good.
Wait.
Today. Thank you, Drew.
No, we're...
The hell?
Now we're official. Walking down the street. What is Ted gonna lose to me at today? What's it gonna be today?
Okay, today we're going to be playing Family Feud.
Meow meow.
You guys are going to be playing against each other. We're going to have 4 rounds, and that's going to give you each 2 opportunities to go first, basically. So we're going to start with round 1. Since Drew is always the loser, why don't you go first?
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Just go, Michigan. Just go, Michigan. Go.
Drew, you're going to go first. You're going to get only 3 strikes. If you get a 3rd strike, then Ted has an opportunity to steal the points.
Okay.
Okay? So
Okay.
the first question, name something a baker might call his wife. We have 7 possible answers.
Hot buns.
Ooh.
Look at that,
You
Ted.
got the number 1. So you keep
What? He said hot buns, not honey buns.
the same thing.
Wow. Fix is in. Fix is already in. Whatever.
On.
Sticky frosting. Hot biscuit.
One more.
I'm not doing good.
One more, and Ted gets an opportunity to steal it from you.
No. Baker might call his wife. I don't even have a guess. Sorry.
All right, Ted. If you guess any of them correctly, you steal the 32 points.
I'm going to go with cupcake.
Good job, Ted.
Shocker,
Ted
Ted's winning.
steals the 40 points. All right, other answers were his oven, sweet or sweetie,
Oh, man.
muffin, sugar, and donut.
I was going to say donut. I did terrible on that one.
All right, round 2. Ted goes first this time.
Okay.
If you could go to the land of Oz, what would you ask the wizard for? 8 possible answers.
The ability to fly.
That's number 8.
Yes!
Holy
Good job. Oh, wait, I shouldn't have given it to you because it's the power to fly, not the ability.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. That's way closer than honey buns. That's ridiculous.
That is a slam right there.
All right, go ahead.
Pretty good. You got that, though.
Yeah, I didn't think anybody was going to get that one.
Golly. I had a lot of answers written down for the first one. I'm drawing a blank on this one.
Oh, I'm supposed to be writing down answers?
Well, you should think about it.
Let's go with
I have the number 1 answer. I already do. I just hope he doesn't get it.
to go home. Time travel.
You're such a hot oven.
X-ray vision.
I like your oven.
All right, Drew, you want to steal it for a whopping 4 points?
I'd say a new car.
Wow, you guys suck at this.
With Mila Kunis driving it.
That is not correct. So Ted gets his 4 points.
Yeah.
What the hell did we miss out on?
What were they? Oh.
Money.
Oh my God, dude.
Health. A brain. A hot body. Peace. Love. And happiness. All right, round 3.
I'm clearing
Drew,
the board on this one. Okay.
you go first. Tell me a word that rhymes with
Erection.
That
Number
was
1.
fast.
Erection.
That is correct.
Selection.
Boom. Good job.
Complexion. Direction. Collection. Plexion. Go ahead, Ted, steal it.
Reaction.
That is not correct.
cool.
All right, Drew, you get the points.
Look at that. Took the lead.
All right. Other answers. Perfection. Detection.
Oh.
Protection. Rejection. All right. Last round. Ted, you go first. In horror movies, name a place teenagers go where there's always a killer on the loose.
The woods.
Absolutely right. The woods. Every time, dude. Every time.
That is the number one answer.
So cabin counts for that. Okay, with the woods, a neighbor's house, an abandoned building, or no. Yeah, an abandoned building.
That's a good answer, though.
Hospital.
All right, Drew, your chance to steal it.
Killer on the loose.
You only need to get one. Whoever gets this board is going to win the game.
I am going to say, how about the garage?
No, that is not up there.
Wow. Is
You
basement
are-
in there? Is basement in there?
Yes. Yes.
Ted wins again. What about attic? That was my other word I was going to say.
Other answers were graveyard,
Oh, Ted, how did we miss that?
movie theater, drive-in, basement, cellar,
Yeah.
closet,
Oh, duh.
bathroom, bedroom, and at a party.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Those are all really good.
All right.
Oh,
Ted wins.
Ted finally wins an episode.
Wow, that was like a Trussell Carr Ohio State Michigan game. Not a lot of highlights, one good score, and that was it.
Go ahead. Steve Dill's face on again. And Steve Dill's. There I am.
All right. Thank you guys for playing. We'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks
Thank
for
you,
doing that,
Toonses.
Toonses. Sorry I was so cruddy at the game, but
Yeah, I was too. We were terrible at that.
well, you did go see Kiss in 77. So you got,
kind of worried there for a minute.
Kiss
All
in
right.
77. That was fun. That was a fun show.
That I think puts a bow on our show. There's a rhyme for you.
Hear that? You hear what he just did?
Again, I want to thank everybody who's been tuning in and watching. Thank you so much. We're still getting a lot of views and subscriptions, and thank you for subscribing and hitting the bell and liking and watching our weekly silliness. We really appreciate it. Thanks to Toonses for the trivia that you do and the editing and to Liz as well. Thanks, Drew, for this great idea of a show. I think it's really taken off. I think we're doing really well. Thanks, everybody. I say this every week, or try to say it every week. Without you folks watching, it would just be Drew and I talking, and it really means a lot that you're commenting and tuning in and everything else. So I hope you like this show. We're going to be back next week, and don't forget to watch Vikings Uncensored. I finally made it. I finally remembered to say it this time.
Yeah, Viking Uncensored, episode 13 coming up.
And we'll try to do better the next time. Drew, why don't you take us home?
Thank you. Everything Ted said. We want to mention you every week because it's important that you know that we do this show for you folks. And if you have a segment you want, send it in. If you have a TV show you want us to do, if you want to send in a video and ask a question, if you want to send in a video of you singing the Monkees, if you want to send in a video of anything, we'll put it on here because we are people friendly. Rest in peace, Davy Jones and Peter Tork. Thank the Monkees for being on here. Let's give one more shout out to Terry Allen.
Yay, Terry Allen.
Episode 21 is in the books. Say goodnight, Ted.
Good night, Ted.